So I share with you all my secrets. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. I mentioned this is my 25-year-old seedling that I got from an arboretum, and I planted, when it got to a certain size, I planted in the ground. And I dug it up maybe 5 years ago, and that's what it looks like. You can see it's good all around. And today, I wanted, again, show this side by side to show what does it take to turn this tree into that tree. So, and the tools I need is nothing more than a growing pot, a bonsai pot, my handy dandy clipper, a scraper. This is actually a meat hook. People use that to move big carcasses of meat, but that's perfect for bonsai, and it's inexpensive. You can find them in a restaurant supply house. And then that's a pruner. And so this is a 2.5-year-old tree. And then eventually I want to show you as I move it into bigger pots and put it in the ground, it will eventually get to that thickness. This is about, I would say it's not quite a 3-year-old tree. So the Trident Maple grows pretty rapidly. And I also want to point out that the leaves are quite big in the beginning, like this young tree. But you can see they reduce eventually when it's got a lot of ramification, it reduces to this size. You see how small it is? Elm, Japanese maple, Trident maple, Salcova, they all reduce leaf sizes, reduces to small leaves. And that's why they are chosen, their choice bonsai material. They've been proven to work over the years so that you can have a big tree with the right scale of leaf size. So let me take this out of the pot. I struggle a little bit to get it out of the pot because this soil is very clayey. You can see this soil is very clayey. That's why the plant is still stuck, and yet the tree did really well because elm and trident and so forth are very hardy trees. They can overcome almost any kind of soil you use is good. So you can use sandy loam, garden topsoil, or whatever, and it should work fine. But you can see this tree a year ago was no more bigger than this, but now it's quite big. And so they grow rapidly, and I want to see the roots because the first step of a tree is the roots, because if it has no good roots, it will never be right. Because you can't change the bottom of the tree, whereas you can change the top branches quite readily. So you want to make sure the roots are coming out radially, like a tree that would be growing in an open space. So if you look close up, you can see this is coming down, and then this one is coming out. Not quite, but I think there's a little pink. But eventually this will be okay, will thicken. And then on this side, you can see there are roots growing out radially this way, and roots growing out radially here. Typically it will, if not, it will eventually will. So the rootage is pretty good. So now let's take a look at what we can do with this tree. So for example, you can see this tree has a little bit of a curve. Although I don't like this curve because it's kind of wimpy. You know, it's kind of an arch. You want it to be straight. So what I'll do is I'll try to not break it, but try to bend it a little bit so that it's straight. You see, it's less curvy now. And then what further I can do is if I clip it off here, you see now it's totally straight. You don't see the curve anymore. So that's the kind of a trick you can use to shape the tree. So right now, for example, I can imagine this tree to be this tall, with this being the apex, and I can clean off a little bit of that so that it will grow out nicely. It will heal. So that would be a tree that, if you look at this from this angle, you can see it goes up, comes down this way, and then these will come down. And you will have a tree that's a fairly standard in size. in shape. Now, I like the tree to be like this. So, for example, you can see that I need to manage these roots. Like this root is coming down nicely, but then there's one going to the side. So I'll clip this off. And maybe pull this one out so that it will eventually be a big root. So you can see I would prefer more like this tree where it make a turn, a much bigger drastic turn than that, and then another turn, another turn. So with that in mind then, what I will probably do is the following. I will plant the tree this way. So now the tree is going like this, and then start to go up. And then I have to cut this off, but saving some of these branches for coming out to the side. So you have to be pretty brutal. You say, oh my goodness, what am I doing to my tree? Well, unless you do that, you're never gonna get to your objective. So I'm basically telling you that there are two ways to do this tree. One is to kind of accentuate this very minor curve. The other one is to create a totally different curve, in a sense, a different design that's more akin to this one. So now I will be very drastic. Cut this off. And this is not a very good cut because it's a stump that would prevent it from heal over really well. So I do it one more time to give it more of a slant. Oh, leaving this little piece that will make nice and this will heal over. And in fact, I should give it more of a cut. Like a slant. I want to be very rough so that it will heal just as it broke naturally. And then I'll cut off this little stump. You can see this little handy dandy clipper, which we will make available to you when we start selling products. It's almost the only cutter I need for anything. So you can see this is redundant. I guess I can leave a little bud so that it may shoot out in the right angle. I don't know. And then this one's definitely underneath the curve, so I cut that off. And now this is a little bit of wimpy curve. So I try to straighten it out without breaking it. You can wire it too to straighten it out. But again, I don't need to spend that time and worry about removing it to not girdle the tree. And so I think that's fine enough. I can eventually push it down. In fact, I can do it now. Now I should cut it off here, but I cut it off here so they will grow a little faster. And now I can see these are all too much. I don't need them. But I leave a little bud so it will grow out. And same here. The tree will come up like this, come this way, and then come this way. I can bend it up a little bit if necessary. And I cut it off here, so that's the apex. And then I want this branch to come out, so I cut it off here. These buds will come out. So, okay, this is the first stage of turning this tree into this tree. So the tree will basically be, let's say, a little bit this way. So this is pointing up. And then this is pointing down by pulling a little bit further, right? And then this will be coming up, and that's built on that as it goes. So that's how we'll put it back in the bonsai pot. So eventually, I would say in 5 years, this tree will be about this thick. It's looking pretty close to this, but if you like, at this stage, you can put it in the ground or put it in a much bigger pot, let it grow, and in 25 years, you will have this trunk. So that's the process of creating a heirloom master bonsai. It just takes time. There's no shortcut because it takes time for the tree to grow. So you can see that's what I had to do to make this tree, to begin the journey of this tree to become this tree. And so the question that's asked again and again, should I put it in the ground or should I put in a bigger pot? I think the answer is that depending on how big the tree trunk that you want it to be, if you want the trunk to be reasonable size, grow in a big nursery pot so you don't have to dig it up again and disturb the roots and start over again, so to speak. But if you want a trunk like this size, then you almost have to put it back in the ground and then keep chopping the big branches as they grow. Because you can have a long shoot coming up this way, 10 feet tall in the ground. And that's why you make the trunk thicken very quickly. So I share with you all my secrets to create this heirloom bonsai. So you can see I straightened out this branch and tilted the tree, so this is more or less pointing up, at least towards that direction, so I can make a turn and turn and turn to build it up. So using the clip and grow method, it's really give you a free canvas that you can create, you can add to it, just like you do a painting, to create anything you want. And so the objective of this tree is to turn into this tree in 25 years. And I think I'm not going to live over 100, so therefore my objective is going to be shorter to be consistent. I'll probably shoot for this to be a very good bonsai in 5 years. And I will do the follow-on for you to follow to see how the tree develops. Thank you very much. With that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you think I'm good at it, in a sense I'm being informative, please click like. I enjoy the encouragement. And subscribe to our channel so that we can notify you of any new announcements. Stay tuned till next week. Thank you very much.